Hey everyone, this is Miss Fisher, and this is another example of modifying a function from the practice create task so that it takes on a parameter. So this is Mackenzie and Rohan's project, and if you can take a look, we have the data set national parks that was imported. So when you run the program, you can see uh, examples of national parks, okay, in the US. Okay, and then you can restart from the beginning and play again. So in this case, what what the program is doing is it gets column from the data set, so we can take a look at the data. It's US national parks. And what I'm going to do is actually export to a spreadsheet so we can take a look at the data a little more carefully. And we've got the name, we've got the image, we have location, which is the state, and sometimes a national park kind of spans over two states, date established, and area, and the number of visitors since 2019. So there's a lot of different possibilities for this. Currently, if you take a look at the code, it doesn't actually take any input. It just kind of randomly chooses a national park. And it does have a for loop and a conditional statement, but it's a bit arbitrary. You've got these national parks, and each of them has an ID. And so basically 1 through 50 are going to be the first 50 states in alphabetical order. Okay, so what we want to do is modify the program so that it actually takes a meaningful input from the user. So that is the goal. Okay. Oh, I'm not sure what's happening here. There we go. Oh, here, this is data. This, I'm just going to slide this so it matches. The one other thing while I'm here is I'm going to go ahead and rename these. So this is going to be the home screen or the begin screen. And then I'm going to take the next screen and I'll call it the park screen, just because it's nice to give meaningful names. And in the code, now we're going to set to the home screen first. And then when you play game, it's going to go to the park screen and then back to the home screen. Okay, so just make sure that your identifiers are meaningful here. Now, when we click for park, we're going to filter and update screen. So that was a really nice example of abstraction where one function is going to take care of filtering the various lists, the filter lists, and the update screen is going to choose a random element in the filtered park name list and display it. But what we want to do is, again, we want to get some kind of input. So what Mackenzie actually decided was she wanted to base the input on size. So you can take input from the user. So what we can do here is add a drop-down menu, and I can just move this up a little bit. And let's say that your choice is going to be between, let's say, size drop-down. Suppose you're going on vacation and you want to go to a small national park. Maybe you want to go to a really big national park. Okay, so there are three options here: small, medium, and large. So now what we're going to do is we're going to filter our national park list, so it's going to be based on size versus just kind of, random, just the first 50 alphabetical order. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and we're not going to need the ID list anymore, so I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And we're no longer going to need this conditional statement based on park ID. Okay, so instead we want to base it on size. What we can do is let's go ahead and get the size from, we're going to get the size from the user. And once we get the size, then we're going to pass it as input, where when we call on the filter, size is going to be either the string small, the string medium, or the string large. So in this case, let's think about how to get the input. Well, we're going to declare, we can declare a local variable, and let's call it size input. So this is the input from the user, and we will get text from the dropdown, okay? And this is a size dropdown, okay? And again, really nice to have meaningful identifiers. And then once we assign that string to size input, we're going to go ahead and that's going to be our argument. So when you call on the function, that's when you're going to get the input from the user, and that's going to be the parameter. This is the argument, okay? The parameter, when it's actually called, we call it the argument, okay? So this is the data, the input, and so when you define it, this is a parameter variable, and you're assuming when you call it, it's going to be either the string small, the string medium, or the string large. So now what we want to do is we're going to reset all these filtered lists and basically kind of have an interval, a min and a max interval for the small parks, and then a min and max interval for the medium and for the large, based on, and if you look at the data set, based on area. So what Mackenzie and I did was we actually sorted the list based on areas in acres, and we saw that there are about 60 or so. So when you look at the first 20-ish or so, let's say it's they're less than 80,000, so between 0 and 80,000, right? And then let's see here, we can actually highlight like this. And the mediums, we say the next 20 or so. So let's say anything less than 500,000, right? But bigger than 80,000. And then large would be anywhere in between 500,000 and it looks like, wow, that's really big, like 10 million, okay? So this will be a different interval, okay? So you can see that, oh, did I do it the same color? I think I did. Let's do it a different color. Let's do blue, okay? So our interval is going to be for the size, small size, it will be between 0 and 80,000. Okay, so we're going to set up a min and a max size if it's considered a small national park. So let's set up a min and a max, min acreage, max acreage. Let's do variables. And I'm just going to declare them here. And then we'll set up an if statement. So min acreage, let's just call it min, and then, well, I'll call it acres, and max acres. Okay, so any, what about min? Let's just call it min, I think that will be a little more simple. Okay, then we're going to have a if else statement, and if the size was equal to small, okay, then our min and max are going to be as follows. So let's set up, we're just going to assign at this point. So our min is going to be anywhere between 0, and our max is going to be between 0 and, what did we say? 0 and 80,000, okay, in acres. Okay, and then else if the user selected medium, right, if it equal medium, then our min and max would be different, right? That interval would be different. So anywhere where the min, like the number of acres is between 80,001 and 500,000, 80,001 and 500,000. Okay, and then else, well, if it's else, the only thing that's left is large, right? So let's say 500,001 and max gets, and let's see here. This is 8 million, so we'll just make a really big number, 10 million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now that we've got our interval, these are the intervals, and if it's small, the number of acres, if it's between 0 and 80,000, we're going to put it in our filtered list. Okay, so that means that if, let's go ahead and go through the name of the list is called, oops, we got an error here. Oh, I guess we have to fix this. The name of the list is going to be Park Acreage List. So let's copy and paste here. Okay. And if Park Acreage List I, okay, so that's going to be a number, right? So for example, we're going to go through this column, and suppose that we were at Mount Rainier, so we had 200, this would be considered, 236,382. Well, 236,382, if we have a medium, right, if the user chose medium, then it is indeed between what we set to be for a medium national park. It is in between 80,000 and 500,000. So we would put Mount Rainier in our filtered list. Okay, so if it is greater than or equal to min, and it is less than or equal to max, then you know what? Let's go ahead and put it in our list. Okay, so that means if the user selected medium, then that means our min and max would be 800. Oh, did I do this wrong? Yeah. Ooh, I'm glad we checked this. It would be between 80,001 and 500,000. So any of these, Zion, actually I'm going there this summer, I'm very excited. Any of these would be between the min and the max if the user chose medium. If the user chose small, then all these numbers would, all these parks would end up in the filtered list because all these numbers are in between the min, which in that case would be 0, and the max would be 80,000. Okay, so let's make sure I don't have any, syntax errors. So I'm going to go ahead and play and just select small. And just let's take a look at the acreage, right? So 30,000, 15,000. Yeah, this looks right. It's all lower than 80,000, right? Which was our initial, that was our max. Well, let's go ahead and select large, okay? And then click. So that makes sense, Alaska. Now we're in the 3 million acres, right? This is, 795,000, okay? So again, bigger than 500,000, California. So you can see there, a lot of them are in Alaska and California, which makes sense. Those are the biggest states, okay? All right. And let's select medium. So medium would be anywhere in between. So click, and you see the numbers do range between 80,001 and 500,000. Okay. All right. So I hope this was helpful, and just let me know if you have any questions. Bye, everyone.